G'day guys, my name's Marky, and welcome back to some more stories from Reddit. With that said, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Cheers. Fiancé thinks I'm an asshole for not converting. Posted by a throwaway account. I, female 35, and my fiancé, male 41, Todd, met over a decade ago, and we have a mutual friend group. We started dating last year and got engaged last month. Generally speaking, he treats me like a queen. He spoils me a lot, and I appreciate it always. He is usually respectful and kind, communicative, and patient with me. This started to change, and I wanted to say that it started to change once the ring was accepted. I need to be clear. I don't much care to get married. I'm perfectly fine with not. My parents aren't married, but they've been in love and together for over 40 years. My siblings are all but one unmarried, but in seemingly happy relationships, each at least for 5 years. But Todd is Christian and is of the mind that two people eventually need to get married to be happy. We talked about it at length both before we were a couple and after we started dating. I was clear that I don't want or need a ring, but if it's important to a partner that I come to love, then whatever. I will do a small wedding. He was overjoyed when he proposed, and I said yes in front of pretty much everyone in our little world, but later said that I didn't seem excited enough, and that it felt like I didn't want to marry him. I said I love him, and if he wants a marriage, then sure. But to say that I want to marry? I mean, I know that he wants to, and if that's what he wants, and since it doesn't matter to me either way, the math was easy. Let's get married. I said it sort of jokingly to lighten the mood, but he didn't like that at all, and nearly every other day he would find a way to ask me if I really wanted to marry him, or he would say that he feels like I don't. I suggested couples therapy, as it seems to really be on his mind and troubling him, and he said he's done therapy before and doesn't need to do it again. Then last week, on our usual date night, he said he had something really big to ask me. Call it a favor if that makes it better, and asked me to come to his church and get baptized. I stared at him. I am an atheist and have been since I was in my mid-20s. He has known that for years, and we've always been respectful of each other's beliefs. I told him that I couldn't do that. Baptism is supposed to be sacred, and with a true heart for that faith, and I simply would be a liar if I said that I wanted to live for his God, because I frankly don't. He argued that it's just a splash of water and some words, and since he wants it before our wedding and I don't care about religion either way, this should be easy. I refused again, explaining that I do care about religion. My majors were world religions and anthropology. I care a lot, and it would be dishonest to his God and our community for me to dedicate my life to his religion outwardly, but not inwardly. I said that it felt disrespectful to his faith and the people who truly live it. He got angry with me and said, "Oh, so you're okay disrespecting me though?" And when I asked what he meant, he said to drop it and change the subject. I pressed more, but he raised his voice. I said drop it! Loud enough for others to turn and look at us. He's been very robotic around me ever since. He spends all night in his study, sleeps on his study couch, goes to every service and event/gathering that his church has, which is most weekday nights and Saturday morning as well as Sunday, and has been inviting me to every single one. He hadn't done that since we started dating, but when he did it back then, I said that I respect his beliefs and will go to something like a wedding or christening or baptism, but not a simple service or event. When he asked me just a few minutes ago tonight, I reminded him of the above, and he just dropped into our couch and sobbed. And when I went over to comfort and talk to him, he pushed me away and left muttering something about running late for service. His sister Esther texted me to ask what happened, and I gave a brief summary, and she texted back that I'm being a jerk and one service isn't going to make me burst into flames, and it's important to Todd. So am I being a bonehead? Am I crazy to think that this pressure is a deal breaker? I do love him, but this version of him is not only a stranger to me, but a weight on me. But aren't people supposed to work through that hard shit to get on in a relationship? In the comments, 295 Phoenix says, "Not the arsehole. Time to break up. But damn, I love how so many Christians take their religion less seriously than we do. An insincere baptism is indeed disrespectful, yet so many Christians want non-believers to do it. OP replies, "This is what confuses me the most. If it's such an important part of his life, how is he okay with my lying and insincerity devoting, quote-unquote, my life to Christ? I'm not against people who have faith, but those that I know who do, truly do beyond platitudes in the mainstream, are kind and loving and would be offended so much if someone faked it and lied about it and had gone through sacred rites and the like. It doesn't make any sense why he keeps switching sides on it. No, it's a ploy. Oh, just get baptized, it's not serious. Just some water and some words. Oh, please come to the service. The pastor really wants to meet you. I told the youth leader that you would help. I'm sure you don't mind, right? It's for the kids. It's not really religious, just a prayer at the beginning and end. But sweetheart, we have to raise our kids in the church. What will everyone think?" They've got a script. No, like seriously, on how to trickle truth convert someone. He is getting immense pressure from the church to bring you into the fold, to save you, to prevent you from being unequally yoked, to hunt and win a soul for Jesus. OP replies, "This is terrifying. I was clear when I left the church eons ago that I am not and will not follow that faith. He never hinted once that I can think of to do what you're saying, but it really makes me think that this might be exactly what he's doing. I can't get pregnant, so kids are out of the equation, but I couldn't bear it if he tried to push me more into his church life. I'm involved a bit to make him happy. I do help at certain events and such. I have skills that they sometimes need, and not at all opposed to a food or clothing or back-to-school drive and the like. I figured that it's less about it being a church event and more a community event where we helped people." Yup. For whatever reason, Todd has started to care much more about what the folks at his church think of him than what you think of him. Todd is 41. His chances to snag a nice, godly, obedient wife are running out, so he found a nice woman and thought that he would groom her, eh? Unfortunately for him, OP has a spine. That's so funny, but it makes sense that these Christian people have a script about it. Because I've experienced the scripts and I was like, yeah, you're just trying to convert me. No, thank you. But there's so many different steps to it and they kind of skipped right to the end for me. They're like, hey man, why don't you just come to our, Sunday service? It's going to be really chill. We'd really like to have you there. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm not religious. I'm not interested in that. And like, oh, come on. It's not religious at all. It's like a cultural thing. There's no religion involved. Like, what? What are you talking about? I'm going to religious worship on a Sunday. What's not religious about that? Are you crazy? But anyway, on to OP in this situation. I don't know how long this relationship is going to last with you two. This seems like it is a deal breaker. If he thinks that you're an asshole for not converting, when you've made it very clear why you don't convert, and he's been accepting of that until he wasn't, I don't know what to tell you. He's a bit of a dickhead for knowing who you are and how you operate and then thinking that he can convert you. I don't think you're an ass at all. I think he's a complete asshole for this. Back up to the post, there is an edit to updates. He texted me a few minutes ago saying when he gets home, he wants to have a serious talk. I explained that my best friend is over, so it'll have to wait, and he replied, no. Tell her to leave, give her my love, but this is serious. I talked with my bestie, Bessie, female 35, and read some of the comments here and told him, no, indeed. He can go home to his parents, and he is welcome to come in and pack a bag and leave because Bess is here for me right now, and I need her here for me right now. He has not responded. Now tell me how you really feel, Todd. Edit to respond to things that have come up a lot, either in messages or comments. He has never raised a hand to me. He would never, and if it's not for the reason that I used to think, that he's not a dick, it would at least be because I am a military brat. Both parents, so not only am I trained to defend myself well, but my parents, would not take kindly. A lot of people brought up kids. I can't get pregnant, I did want kids, and then this happens. So now I'm okay with the idea of not having any. He said he was okay with that too, and we talked about just being dog rescue people. My family likes him. My father, a pastor, loves the guy. But no, I haven't talked to him about this yet. He is non-denominational and goes to a megachurch in our state. Literally thousands of people. No, it is not a requirement for marriage at his church for me to convert. We getting some Kenneth Copeland vibes. Don't you dare say I said that. I ain't going on them damn public airlines. They're filled with demons, I tell ya. Hallelujah. Jesus said that I need to fly private, okay? I need another private jet. And now, on to the updates. So last week I posted about a problem between myself and my fiancé Todd, because despite having been respectful of each other's beliefs until now, he is a Christian and I am an atheist. He now wants me to get baptized. It came to a head and he stormed out, so I called my BFF to keep me company since I was pretty sad and emotional. I do a lot for him and Bess, the bestie, and a lot of you here helped me see that the relationship as is either needs to have serious changes to it or it needs to end. Logical, but logical is hard to cling to when you're heartbroken. I think I already knew that he wouldn't change anything for me. I did text him that night that he needs to go back to his parents' house, the house we live in is mine, and that I needed space. Guess he and his sister gave his parents an alternate version of events because they came by that night anyway. All of him. His mum, dad, sister Esther, and him. He had a key, so he just walked in as Bess and I are drinking on the couch watching Netflix. I asked what he was doing here, and his family came into the room behind him. I asked what was going on. The way he looked at me is unexplainable. But his mum pushed by him and just yanked me into a very aggressive hug. She said that they were here to talk as a family and have a family meeting. I'm having a family freakout on the inside right now. And then told Bess that she needed to leave. Bess refused. His mum turns to me to ask me to have Bess leave. I refused. It's late, and I'm not in any state to talk about anything else. Please leave. It devolves into passive-aggressive disapproval that I won't take guidance from the man that I plan to marry. His parents, his father is a pastor, sat down to give me what felt like a whole pre-planned spiel about how I'm an adult and need to act like one, and kicking a man out of his home for doing the right thing is a tantrum. His dad once even said that he is so disappointed in me and will be telling my father, who is also a pastor, about this. You 35-year-old children, I'm gonna tell your dad about this. Gotta be honest, I was dumbfounded for 85% of this, and then finally, I guess it was the booze, started to laugh and told them to get out. His dad refused and called me volatile and suggested that I get counseling. I told them that this is my house and I will call the police and to get the F out. It was the first time that I cussed in front of them. Pearls were clutched, I was called trashy, and Bess held her phone like, okay, I am calling the cops. She asked you to leave. I heard his dad say, you are not marrying that, as they left, and they muttered other hurtful things, making a whole thing out of them being sad and disappointed by me. They left. Todd packed a bag and left with them. He continued to text me invites to services. It'll help you, he says, stating that he's concerned about me and the path that I am choosing, that his parents aren't sure that he should marry me, but he loves me and wants what is best for me. I told him that I need space and to leave me alone, but he just kept texting. I said that the wedding is off, and Sunday when I got home from running errands, he was on the porch crying. He had a handwritten letter that he wanted me to read, but I said absolutely not, and I told him to go away. He kept asking me to think about what I'm doing and how my choices affect more than just myself and more. I pointed to my doorbell cam and said that I have footage of me repeatedly asking him to leave, and Bess was recording the night his parents and sister and he ganged up on me. Go away. He threw his hand up like he was going to strike me, and I just screamed. I didn't even mean to. It was so sudden and it scared me. He went to start apologizing, but a neighbor came out to see what was happening and he just left. I texted him to never come back ever. He is no longer welcome. I will mail his stuff to his parents, but he is no longer welcome on my property ever again. He tried to apologize, but I no longer care to hear any of his words. He did leave his written letter, and I have read it, and so has Bess. She keeps telling me that it's just manipulation, but it just breaks me. The locks get changed tomorrow. Bess is helping me pack his shit, his father is picking up his stuff tonight, and I'm just sitting here replaying the past week and a half in my head over and over. I know it's pathetic, but I'm shattered. I haven't been able to really sleep yet, and I feel like I don't even reside in my own body anymore, just going through the motions. Bess is staying with me, and I've been getting texts and social media comments about how disgusting I am. Like, my notifications just went insane over the weekend. This is just a nightmare, and I'm not even sure how to wade through this. Edits. I am so overwhelmed by the comments and support. I am trying to reply, but I'm tired and still a bit out of my head. I do appreciate everyone who is making me laugh. I needed that fun-loving energy. Bess is making us dinner, so hopefully I can eat something. Thank you all so much for the hugs and support. In the comments, Commercial Loan says, first trying to force her to convert, then bringing his family to treat her poorly in her own home, then almost getting physical with her, and ultimately trying to emotionally manipulate OP. OP, give his trash to his father and block all of them. If he goes to your place again, don't engage, just call the police. If they keep pestering you, call the non-emergency line and have the situation written, or however that works in your country. A 41-year-old man brought his mum and dad to lecture his fiancé. Shit's wild. I can't even imagine doing that at 18. The fact of the matter is, he was planning to convert you from the beginning because, of course, as the man, he's the head of the family. Women aren't fully formed and they need guidance. So many ways to manipulate. I'm proud of you for standing up and making sure that you are understood. So, there is actually a tactic that some Christians use to save souls. It's called missionary dating, and it's exactly what it sounds like. I get the impression that Todd has not been entirely honest with his parents about your relationship. He's probably been telling them that he was converting you, and their expectation was that you were far enough along to get baptized. Your refusal brought that house of cards down. I'm sorry this happened. You made the right decision to end the relationship. The Latter-day Saints call it flirt to convert. And OP says, this turns my stomach. You did the right thing. Religious affiliation by force isn't authentic or honest. He and the family accepted you in the beginning, and now when you're really committed, they want you to change. Even bringing his family to counsel you was a preview of what was likely to come. No one who loves you would allow you to be referred to as that. Yeah, pretty much this guy was flirting to convert you, OP. This was the wrong kind of missionary that he was trying on you. It really sucks that he was such a gargantuan piece of shit in his approach to this, and that he had absolutely no respect for you, but that's your classic manipulator piece of shit. He can die mad knowing that you have a spine and boundaries that he could never cross. This was all just a power play by him. I hope that he wallows in the misery that he has caused in this situation, and that he always stands on Lego bricks whenever he takes his shoes off, because he does not deserve good things right now. Thank you for sharing your story with us, OP. I hope you can heal from this one. It really sucks that you did have to experience this, but you're better off without him in your life. Posted by user Softest Addy, titled, How do I, 20 female, go about telling my boyfriend, 20 male, about my previous years of being an online sex worker? I did sex work for about 3 years and quit right when I met my boyfriend, who we will call James. James and I met back in March of 2024, and he pulled me out of the biggest depressive state that I've ever been in, and I am so grateful for him. James is the sweetest man that I know, and he's never shown signs of disliking girls who produce that content, if it makes any sense. I quit doing it all after being in a deeply depressive state for 1.5 years. I had sites and other accounts where I would post. My only issue is that I have a hard time keeping secrets from someone I love. I just don't want my past to haunt me, or for me to dig myself into a deeper hole of secrets. While I do believe that partners should be able to keep certain secrets from each other, I just think that this one is too serious of a secret to keep from him. I'm afraid that he will leave me, or even worse, treat me how the men that I sold to treated me. I don't want to seem like a sex object to him in any way. While I've never had sex with someone for money, I've still sold pictures of myself. And I know the past is the past, but this has been a huge weight on my shoulders. Only a few of my friends know that I did this, so it's hard for me to ask for any advice from them, and I would like to have an unbiased opinion. Sorry if this is too long or not making any sense, I'm just trying to put my thoughts down. What do you think the pros and cons of this situation would be, and how do you think that I should go about it? Any and all advice is helpful. In the comments, clarification from OP, I apologized if my post made it seem like I was doing sex work at 17. Not that it's any better, but I was 18. It's 4 AM over here, and I did not revise my post. Self-Inflicted says, back in March 2024 is when you should have told him, today is the next best day. And OP says, I would prefer to tell him in person, but we can't see each other for about a week or two. Well, since you're getting some unrealistic bad advice, I'm just going to be blunt. You've been hiding something from him that would be a deal breaker for most people. That being said, you stopped doing it right when you met him. That fact, I think, shows that you were genuine with him, and I expect that if you frame it right, then everything will be okay. Come clean to him about it, and in my opinion, explain that it was a bad decision that you made horribly depressed. Explain how much he means to you and how you stopped as soon as you two got together. I wish you luck. You seem like a nice person. OP says, thank you. I tried to tell him when we first started talking that I was going to bring it up, but my anxiety got the best of me since it was so fresh. You might try writing down what you want to say beforehand. I found that it can help with anxiety as well as keep the conversation concise. Definitely do it in person though. That way your sincerity will come across to him and he can't misinterpret what you're saying. I believe that the best way is to tell it along with your reasons to do it. What needs did drive you to do that? Well, there is a chance that he will leave you because of that, but if he really loves you, he will understand you. He might even already know it, and if he isn't, then you deserve better. There are guys out there who are okay with it. In future relationships, you probably want to put it to the starter pack, the things which are important to tell because they are potential deal breakers. Another thing to consider is that sex work is extremely mentally taxing. I had a partner with such background. I was and am absolutely okay with it, and honestly, such a relationship has its own perks. But she could not, and still cannot, function in relationships because she cannot handle the related guilt, and it has driven her to a severe narcissistic lock. Avoid that. Do not be ashamed. But if you feel that it was a mistake, admit it with the caveat that now you know better. And seek professional help. You might not realize how much it has messed up your brain. Yeah, I agree with that. I think everyone here is given good advice. If he does want to leave you, then he'll leave you. That's just how it is with a lot of people. Not everyone is accepting of sex work. And that's okay. That's something that we just have to accept. But if you keep this from him, and it eventually comes out that he finds out you did sex work, that would be really bad, because you would have been lying to him by omission, and that's not okay. So would you rather the band-aid be taken off now or later? And I would think taking off the band-aid earlier would be the better solution to this problem. I hope it goes well, OP. And now, on to the update. If you haven't seen my original post, it is right here where I asked how I should go about telling my boyfriend about my past. I told him that I needed to talk soon, and he asked, should I be nervous about this talk? So I got the chance to tell him this Sunday, and it was very hard for me to get out. It took 5 minutes of my stuttering to get it out, and he took it very well. He told me, while I do care about your past, I care more about who you are now and how we will be in the future. I'm here for you, and I don't see you any differently than I do now. That was very paraphrased. I just added in some more cheesy lovey-dovey things. This really shook me to my core, and I'm so happy that I found someone who's willing to love me for me. I'm very appreciative of everyone who had anything helpful to say. It helped me out a lot. He knows that I have read it, so soon I'll show him that post. I just want to say thank you again all so much. Edit, I'm aware this sounds like an "and everyone clap" situation, or a "she then woke up from her dream" type of update. But sometimes good things happen to people, and just because you don't see it often, doesn't mean that it never happens. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!